10:14 p.m. It is August 10th, 2018. It's got an invite to my brother's, smallest brother's going away dinner with me and my middle brother, my mama. He's finally moving out of the house, moving to a different state, actually, college. So I'm excited for you, little bro. I really am. Handle business, get it done. I am still on that focus on it's not even about scoring big. It's not even about that jackpot or building a career. Nothing against building a career, don't get me wrong. And that's why people with careers have a good time in college. They like their routine, they like their 9 to 5s, turning your A's and B's to equal out that C. It all makes sense. They want that stability. They want that consistency. And of course, who doesn't want that? Not everybody's up to playing cards at the table, if that makes any sense. Way too many ups and downs. At the moment, as much as I want to settle and keep it on a consistent pace, which I can't wait to dial in, again, something that I've really been focused on and not giving up with this marijuana battle. 8 years ago, at the very beginning, it all started with people just not understanding what it is. People thinking I'm just some druggie looking to cultivate marijuana. And instead of me buying pot from some dealer or grower, I decided to grow for myself. And then the more I got into it, the more exciting it was. And knowing that it's not just a drug, it's more to that. Besides of it being my therapy, a way of coping with my feelings and emotions, with these bad vibes, if you want to call it. And then at the same time, trying to understand this whole cultivation process with, as much as they say they were backing me up and they had all this money for me and this and that, that's not true, bottom line. If it wasn't one thing, it was the other. Even wiring the house with the right electricity, that didn't happen till like 4 years ago. And then when I finally got the electricity to finally dialed in, I had a wall put in where it's specially sealed in with that what is it called? That it's not foam, but it's like that fabric that you put in the walls to insulate the wall. And I had a special door put into this room that will not let anything leak or anything in. If I was gonna run CO2, I had the wire run into that room, and then that's not including the garage where I had an outlet for 8 outlets. 220, 50 amps basically for the garage, 20 amps for one of the rooms, and then just regular outlets in the other room. And then the living room, same thing. It was just simple. Again, I've been at this war, and as soon as everything got dialed in, it was like the other way around. Instead of me, getting the electricity done, it cost a couple $100, literally $200. Like $250 with the supplies, couple breakers, this and that, and simple little things. As soon as that got dialed in, it was the high electricity bill. Well, with the high electricity bill, that means I'm trying to get things dialed in and situated and either grow a nursery clones or flower. Well, again, it wasn't like, hey, let me borrow $1,000. It was more of like knocking on the hardest phone, the one thing I can only support on. I'm not giving it away, but it just wasn't there for me. Instead of like supporting and being for it, me knowing that this is a small window frame to where we can really make some money working with the dispensary as a caregiver, as they called it. You're not really paying taxes. You're just getting your cash for whatever it is you're vending. It was all such a black market. It's not even funny. Waiting for this final days to finally be legalized and commercialized, or maybe I can get a small little permit to where I can keep doing what I'm doing legally now. Um, Again, everything has been like backwards. Then sitting at a city hall meeting yesterday, the city council's talking like they want to support all the small growers. They want to bring in more permits, from what I'm understanding. I'm hoping on a smaller level. They're trying to legalize micro businessing next year. Micro businessing is like no more than, a couple thousand square feet of a canopy. Now again, all great and dandy because square footage is like $2 now a foot for warehouse space. Same warehouse space that they weren't even able to rent out because it wasn't needed to be rented out. And if it was rented out, it was like at 30 cents. So you've got property owners that if they did sell out on that same property, they want like $1 million on a couple thousand square feet. Or you're a grower now trying to get in on still, $4,000 a month lease. Let's say 1,000 square feet. That's a couple $1,000 a month lease. And with that said, with this market being so regulated, there's no importing, there's no exporting. You got all these high taxes that barely keeps anybody really in business. Um, Upfront taxes, upfront fees, upfront permits, where it's like, man, let us do our jobs. Let us stay in business. I mean, you got this equity line that you just approved yesterday for $1 million. That's what they have. $1 million is one business, one solid commercial company. Now, if you're going to break it down now to smaller loans, then we're talking now house permits. You're talking about not collecting permit fees for certain situations. Where are we going to be doing business if we can't even get into this market? So you've got these loopholes as well as fences that, yeah, we can work around one thing, but we can't get into this other thing. And it becomes this big time wasted frame that I feel like in the long run, I understand where the big markets, the big businesses, they're happy. They're making their cash flow. All it takes is one leader, one ruler, one law, and things are so not for us. There's nothing else to say. I'm excited to send my brother off to college. I'm excited for this little dinner after party, or this little dinner get together we're having. My mom and I, my two younger brothers. And as much as I don't want to go black market, as much as I'm already on the radar, as much as everybody's already watching, it's one of those things where I'm not a killer. I'm not a bad person. I don't want to have black market on my hands. I don't want to have blood on my hands besides what I'm hunting. These beautiful animals that at the same time, do we really want to kill them? Yeah, well, a few turkeys is fine, some rabbits, some raccoons, this and that. I enjoy the hunt. I enjoy a little bit of everything of that come up to the hunt. From oiling up your guns to preparing the cartridges to maybe even loading my own cartridges sooner or later. I enjoy that. It's not even called labor. It's more of like prep work. And at the same time, it's not for everybody. I understand we all settle for a fishing hole we're going to keep milking the pond. But it's one of those things where, not that I enjoy the struggle, because who'd want to enjoy the struggle? It's more of enjoying life. Life that y'all understand a little bit of what I'm saying. I don't want to sugarcoat it or put makeup on what I really feel, but I don't want to jinx anything as well. Because struggle's annoying. But at the same time, somebody that wants to struggle, someone that enjoys that whole business hustle, they're always struggling. So again, me settling for like some career or some job from 9 to 5 and keeping things moving in the city as it's slow it is, it's not for everybody. I understand everybody wants to go to school, everybody wants a degree, and I'm not saying I'm something special, I'm putting myself over the top, or I'm somebody that wants to like take over, but at the same time, there's nobody there for that. Yeah, you got people with money, but they don't understand what they have. Kind of what I was back in the day. You got all this money, but you don't understand what you have, and you're abusing it. So having this hardship for a few years now, it's been beautiful in such a traumatizing way that, of course, now if I'm going to live this life, I'm going to understand it on a different level and enjoy it at a different level. Appreciate it, of course. And this money that we're playing with right now, it's more of like, man, what are you going to do with it? So me playing cards and Texas Hold'em, it's one of those things where I don't even want to play cards. I really don't. It's a waste of my money. And me buying in with $10, coming up 100, or having the option of winning a few tournaments where you can cash in on a couple $1,000, is me really taking that effort of really wanting to come up to make that next move to where I can get out of this city, get out of these rules and regulations, get out of this, off these streets. I've been walking on these streets since 2014. Again, I've learned my lesson with the DUI 4 years ago. 4 years ago, without a bicycle, trying to go to ARC, trying to juggle all this energy with going to the gym, keeping this gym routine, knowing my health is wealth, knowing my fitness is really key. And besides all that, trying to understand farming. Not that college was a waste, but at the same time, understand the system, understand where everything's going, and how we're just calling the counseling center, for example. And this is right before a whole counseling meeting with the main counselors, the main people. They're like, yo, you got to make sure you call at 7:30 in the morning. Make sure you book this appointment. Make sure you get your dismissal right because your grades are bad and this and that. And you want to make sure you call early because things are going to get filled up. Okay, I call an hour later, right? This is the next day. 7:30, I didn't call at 7:30. I call like 8:30. The lady that picks up is like, oh, we're booked. There's no appointments like the 15th. School starts the 25th. The counselors yesterday, the day before, told me like, yo, y'all make sure you guys book this appointment like this week, ASAP, like, today or tomorrow or whatever, because the deadline's the 15th. It takes like 10 days for the dismissal to happen. So if you're going to get in on the 15th, before the 15th, 10 more days, school starts 25th, so you'd be able to get your dismissal up. We had this appointment with the main head counselors on the 8th of August. I'm calling in on the 9th in the morning at 7:30. I called at 7:30 and nobody picked up. I called actually at 7:29. They were closed. 7:30 called, 7:35 called, nobody's picking up. 8 o'clock, 8:20, I'm on hold for like 20 minutes. Finally get through. They hang up because I didn't answer because I wasn't paying attention. Long story short, call right back. They pick up 5 minutes later. And again, that lady was like, yo, next appointment's the 15th. We can't help you. Things are going to be long. All I had to do was say that, you're wrong. I need to talk to the head counselor center. I mentioned her name, this and that. I got a transfer, and boom. The counselor center calls me back. We had a conversation, like a minute conversation, and I lost track of her. We got disconnected. And I just haven't had that motive to even try to go back because Again, it's one thing after the other, and the school system, it's full of, man, it'd be cool to at least understand the people that I'm talking to. You got all this help in the system that's all immigrants. It's not even funny. It's a joke. I understand I'm Russian, fresh off the boat back when I was a year old, but I speak fluent English. I speak fluent Russian. I'm understanding the topics. I'm not super educated, but I did go through a system, private education, where there was no other option. You're gonna get you're gonna get your ABCs in order. um. Anyways, at this moment, I've had so much experience, if that makes any sense, from all these different opportunities and people and corners, I guess if you want to call it, of different options, from school, from black market, from trying to work with the government, from talking to these streets. And man, I understand we all need something from someone, all understandable. And I'm in that situation. I've always been very independent. I want to do my own thing. Even with this farming, if I'm going to help somebody start a garden, I don't want to be 50%. I want you to do your own thing. I'll supply help, whatever it is, upfront cost or after cost, it doesn't matter. Get your thing dialed in. Sooner or later, I'm praying that there's some kind of money that comes in, and then yes, I get my own thing going. Now, if we're going to enjoy live life, I don't need a multi-million to billion-dollar private or public stock type of, industry, government, program, company. But at the same time, who doesn't want those high-end type of monopoly big boxes? But if I'm going to settle, if I'm going to be living, enjoying my life, I love my routine. I love my gym workouts. Besides the having to walk out there with my dislocated knee, I can't even jog, I can't even run to do that cardio. Plus it's hot or cold winter. I'm not complaining. I just want you to understand why I really want to get out of the situation. Yeah, I have my own house I picked up at 19 years old. Back when my father died when I was 15. Going through high school as my father was dead with a business that was doing its own thing without a boss. And they were just milking it. There was like $9,000 in payroll. I stepped into the company. I fired everybody within 6 months and literally started doing all their jobs. It wasn't even that much work. And then as I'm getting more into this business, as technology is growing, we're going in more paperless, this and that. Things were only getting better. And again, I couldn't just settle and sit there and milk the policies, being young and not dumb, but understanding now who I am. I can't just settle. Growing a warehouse, dialing it in, and all of a sudden having 10 employees and everybody's getting paid and everybody's got high salaries and everybody's Gucci and I'm making $1 million a year. I can't just sit down and relax. You hear me? So drinking's not bad. Smoking weed or cigarettes really isn't that bad. It's how you do it, when you do it, how much of you are doing it. Again, God bless America. God bless this world. I'm not frustrated. I'm not frustrated. Please understand me. And the help that I'm getting is government help. Because a human can't help me anymore. I do not trust you as much as I want to help you. It's so sad. It's so sad. It's really sad because I'm so hurt and I've been through too much. And man, from churches to public streets to relationships with my own family, my relatives that I grew up with, and understanding what was meant for me, what people wanted for me. I'm not supposed to be here. I've finally been realizing that and understanding it. I'm not supposed to be here. And the ones that were supposed to make me not be here, understand that I'm on your side. And the ones that are making the orders, goodbye.